the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, Kathleen Kennedy, the Walt Disney Company, even movie critics all over the globe. They are the true victims, ladies and gentlemen, for they are being review bombed. That's what they say. The Acolyte is popular. No way! Look, look, look! They say it's the viewers, it's the viewership. It's tremendous. Folks, we're about to debunk everything they say. We are definitively going to put it to bed, and you will now know instead the truth. Get ready for a master class in media spin. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we endeavor to tell the truth. What a dandy thought. That's how we keep you ahead of the culture curve. We also love having Lauren Connor with us. Lauren, welcome back to the channel.
Good morning.
Folks, we made some lofty promises to you. It turns out that the Acolyte, well, it's not doing so well with the audience score. Dramatically different than the critic score. The critic score, 93%. The audience score, depending on what time you check it, way lower. And that's not all. Disney says that people, well, they're lovers of the Acolyte because the Acolyte has the best viewership of blah, 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 blah. But we're here to tell you, we know how to expose the truth. And after this video, folks, you will as well. As we dive in, click the like button, and folks, here we go. Starting off with the paragon of virtue that is ScreentRant. It says the Acolyte review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. This is because they're at 93%, and we all know that is a joke. The Acolyte is currently being review bombed on sites such as Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. The Disney era of Star Wars has hardly been a non-controversial one, with the fandom dividing in the aftermath of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Those divisions remain to this day, as has been proven with the Acolyte. Showrunner Leslie Headland has proved especially controversial. Can't imagine why. Hey, Harvey! And there's been a vocal backlash against the Star Wars TV show from certain parts of the fandom. This has continued with the release of the Acolyte premiere on Disney+. At time of writing, the Acolyte has an audience score of just 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, while the show has a user score of 4.1 on Metacritic. Looking at the actual reviews, there's evidence of a review bombing campaign. Uh-oh. Are there any Russians out there this time? Many appear to be AI generated, consisting only of basic plot synopses. A surprising number of half-star reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are from brand new accounts, another indicator of a review bombing campaign, as opposed to folks who might be so disgusted they're willing to start an account just to say, this stinks. All right, Lauren, are you ready to definitively destroy this narrative that the Acolyte is being review bombed? Are you ready, Lauren?
Go for it.
All right, here we go. Lauren, you debunk me if you see anything wrong with this analysis. Here we go, folks. The current review score from critics when it comes to the Acolyte is way up there. It's at about 93%. In fact, folks, it's dropped a whole 1%. Maybe one reviewer out there got a little cold feet. 92% is what the tomato meter reads. Now, 27% is what the average audience score is, which means since ScreentRant, it has dropped. Now, here's why, folks, this... Oh, wait a minute. Top critics are only at 74%? Oh my gosh, Lauren, the top critics, they're review bombing. No, we kid. All critics at 92%, but the top ones, they know it's 74. Okay, so anyway, Lauren, in my estimation, having watched the show and having seen the online discourse, I can say that at best, half the people out there enjoyed this show and half did not. That's the best. Lauren, am I wrong on that? Have you seen anything that would sway you to believe that there's more than half the audience that enjoyed it?
The only criticism I would have of that is determining who it is that, actually watch. There's some people that are lauding this show. I think we've had the common theory that those people that praise everything that Disney does, there's some skepticism as to whether they're really showing up in theaters. And I see no reason why they wouldn't be doing the same thing here. But if you're wanting to be favorable in your analysis for as good as it could possibly be, then sure, 50% sounds about right.
Okay, so let's play 50%, folks. Everybody get ready. We're about to blow up this review bomb theory, and then you all can go out there and blow it up whenever they try to post it on Twitter. All right, if half the audience like this show, and that, again, folks, that's as good as we can be to Disney, then the all-critic score that they are citing is 42% out of line with the mainstream. However, the average audience score, which is at 27%, is only 23% out of line with the very best that we can give Disney. So again, at best, the all critics is 42% swayed. At the worst, the audience score is 23% swayed. Everybody see how that works? We've got two different baselines here. At best and at worst are at play. What that means is that the audience score is 23% versus 42% for all critics, but the audience score is actually even closer because we doubt that half the people who watch this show liked it. And we doubt that because we've paid attention to the online discourse, because it's our job. Lauren, here's what I'm going to toss to you. It seems to me that one of the reasons that they are so terrified of this backlash is because it's putting a hyper focus on the critics. And the critics, I just don't know how the critics could not have foreseen this, but apparently they have miscalculated. And they are on the opposite side of a huge tsunami of public backlash. And the critics don't like that because the critics want to be the arbiters of truth. So how much of this, Lauren, do you believe is an actual effort? There's somebody behind an AI campaign, maybe out of Moscow, to destroy the Acolyte. And how much of it do you think is just the critics right now wetting their beds and saying, no, we have to be important? What do you think, Lauren?
Well, for me, it's kind of hard to tell. It's like when you're talking about on a review site like Rotten Tomatoes, I know that there's been some accusations of shenanigans in the past with people able to sign up accounts and vote. I don't really know the mechanics of how they're gating that at Rotten Tomatoes. I know that we've seen an awful lot of stuff from Master of TDS talking about the kind of bot campaigns that we see on Twitter, which to me is where I've been seeing most of the online discourse. To me, it's difficult to weed out who is legitimately making a criticism, who feels like a shill, who's being honest in what they're saying. So I kind of ignore that stuff. What I'm interested to see is more in line with, is there any merchandise out for this thing? Are people buying it? Once the show is done, does anybody talk about it after that? That will really tell you whether this show had any kind of an impact, because my guess is outside of mockery, they're going to shut up about it as soon as it's done.
Oh, what great points. Lauren, that was fantastic. Folks, let's talk about viewership, because this is the second part of a two-pronged strategy that is out right now to defend the show. And they're defending it with everything they have, likely because they know that that was the best they're going to get. Those two episodes, that was the best. Everything from here on out is downhill, and episode 3 just might drive away all the legacy Star Wars fans, if they even remain. But take a look at this. This is out of comingsoon.net. They are reporting on the same stuff that Variety and THR and all of them are reporting, because Disney has put this out there. And it is that Star Wars: The Acolyte debuts #1 on 2024's Disney Plus viewership list. Now, as we read the article, folks, you're going to find out that that headline is not true. It's not. So let's read the actual article and see what's happening. After receiving critical acclaim, Star Wars: The Acolyte has also started strong commercially on its first day of streaming on Disney+. Premiering with 2 episodes, the latest prequel series gained significant viewership, despite being review-bombed by many people. Star Wars: The Acolyte's debut viewership numbers are extremely high, as it became Disney Plus's most viewed show of 2024 on the first day. It easily managed to go past all major Disney Plus launches of the year. These include X-Men 97, Echo, and Star Wars: The Bad Batch Season 3. All right, let's parse this out first, folks, so you can understand this is horrible for Disney. If you are the marketing team behind what Disney does, your job here is to blast out the best possible message you can. That's the job. And folks, you have seen this since you were little bitty babies. You remember those the ads that would be on TV where it would say like, critics say it's the most fun you can have, ... And then what they wouldn't put is, compared to having a root canal, they wouldn't put that part of the review because it was a terrible review. It's a terrible movie. So they would take whatever snippet they could. Disney's job here is to promote this. And so what Disney would do, if Disney could say that this is the biggest thing on Disney Plus this week, they would do that. They're not. If Disney could say that it's the biggest thing since 2022's yada, 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 they would do that. They're not. So let's walk through exactly what they're saying. Number one, they're not saying that it's the #1 item on 2024's Disney Plus viewership list. That's false. What they are saying is that is the most viewed show of 2024 on only the first day. And then it says these examples. X-Men 97. Folks, X-Men 97, you may have loved it, you may have hated it. It was never on Nielsen, not a single time. Echo. Well, how popular was Echo, folks? Echo was this popular, according to Cosmic Book News by Matt McGloin. Marvel's Echo proven failure, exits Nielsen ratings after 1 week. So it's bigger than a failure. That's how big it is, right? Okay. Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 was never on Nielsen, not a single time. Again, folks, how bad is it? Well, let's look and see if they could say that it's the biggest thing on Disney Plus, they would. So they can't say that because of Bluey. They'll never be able to say it. So we know that it didn't break 1 billion minutes watched because that's what Bluey does. So it's not up there. So it's not as big as The Roast of Tom Brady. It's not as big as Grey's Anatomy. And this Nielsen chart is about 6 weeks old. It's the newest we've got. But just to compare, just to say, here's what it would have to beat. It's not going to beat Bluey because they didn't say that it's the biggest thing. So let's look and see how Disney performs in movies, okay? Well, as you can see, and this is another fault, this is another issue that Disney has. Disney only appears one time right now in movies in Nielsen with Moana. And by the way, that's why they're making Moana sequels. But Moana is holding the 8th spot with 230 million minutes watched. Now, we can pretty safely say that Moana is going to stay there because Moana has been here since 2016. Since Disney Plus launched in 2019, Moana has been pulling these numbers, 230 million minutes. So if it was bigger than Moana, they would say so. They would say this is the biggest streaming, or they would say this is the biggest Disney original item on Disney Plus this week. They would rephrase it somehow, but they would say it that way because Bluey is not. Bluey is an acquired, right? So Bluey sits here and acquired at the top with 1 billion. And folks, look how few things are on Disney Plus that actually chart on Nielsen lately. That tells you something. So if they could say any of those things, Lauren, they would absolutely positively say them. They cannot say them because what they are saying shows us exactly where this landed. It is the #1 most viewed show of 2024 only on the first day. It's beating X-Men 97, Echo, and Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 with 2 episodes, by the way. That's what they're having to say. As per Disney, the series garnered 4.8 million views on day 1, with 1 view being calculated by dividing the number of hours each title is watched by its runtime. These views have also been compared with Ahsoka. Even though Ahsoka's first day viewership numbers aren't available, Disney revealed it got over 14 million views in its first 5 days. Assuming it got 2.8 million views per day, the Acolyte easily wins, leading by roughly 2 million views. No, it doesn't, because most people tune in the first day, and then the viewership drops over time. So that's also false. So what this tells us, Lauren, is this is also probably going to be under Ahsoka for viewership. And we also know that Ahsoka was not well received and not well viewed. Final thing, Lauren, and I want you to find anything you can poke a hole in with this. They're bragging that 4.whatever million people apparently viewed this. You divide the episodes and you figure out, oh, well, it's 2 million per episode. Understand. Got it. So how does that do? Why should we laugh at that? Well, we should laugh at it because of this. Folks, this is the number of Disney Plus subscribers worldwide. 153.6 million is how many Disney Plus subscribers are out there. How many tuned into The Acolyte? 4 million. Folks, you do the math and you figure out what percentage of Disney Plus subscribers just had to see The Acolyte. All of the narratives are wrong. All of the narratives are false. This is a giant defense scheme, and a little bit of truth sprinkled on it makes it shrivel up like a snail with salt. Lauren, am I wrong anywhere? Was there anything I said in your vast knowledge and your intellect, Lauren? Where have I gone astray?
No, I don't see anything wrong in your reasoning. And I think in a lot of ways, this would be easily predictable, even if the show was good. Now, I'm going to say again, I haven't watched the show. I determined immediately based on what they were saying, this was not going to be for me. But let's go with the most charitable interpretation again. Let's say that you wanted to appeal to a broad audience. Some of those numbers in there that you were quoting that they are saying it premiered better than, you're talking about X-Men 97 and The Bad Batch. Those are animated shows. And as diehard Star Wars fans can be, they love to consume all the content, but the general audience doesn't. They're there for the live action stuff. This is a live action show that's set in an era of Star Wars that had a special publishing initiative that the vast majority of the casual audience has never heard of, has no experience with, and probably is wondering, why are we 100 years before The Phantom Menace? What does this have to do with anything else related to Star Wars that the general public would know? Once they get into that and they see that the major headlining star that they have been promoting is killed in the first episode, I don't think that your prospects are going to be very good for the casual audience, which is the vast majority of who you're trying to attract. This show was going to be dead on arrival, even if it was good, and it's not.
That is correct, and we've seen this before, by the way, Lauren. We've seen this before. I want to show you this real quick. I wasn't going to do this, but folks, take a look at this. We've been here before. This is deja vu. Look, from Collider, just a couple months ago. It says, and this is by Ryan Luis Montilla. It says, X-Men 97 picks up where the original series left off, reintroducing the iconic mutants from the 90s. The show's return has been a huge success, hitting 4 million views in its first 5 days on Disney+, making it the streamer's most-watched animated premiere. Never charted on Nielsen. Called the streamer's most-watched animated premiere because that pulled it down. And by the way, they didn't. They said it since 2022. But that was enough parameter to give them a truthful statement. But it doesn't mean anything because it never hit Nielsen, not a single time. And some people like the show. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It still never tracked on Nielsen. It still was very unpopular. If I did a video on it, nobody watched it because nobody was watching the show, relatively. And that's what's going on with the Acolyte right now. The only difference is that Disney needs this to succeed, or else everything they have planned is starting to really, really fall apart. Lauren, last thought on this. With Leslie Headland being the showrunner, director, writer, Leslie Headland is the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. Baked into this show is a true, and I think justified, disdain for everybody who's a part of it. Within reason now, not, if you're just some poor person doing the grip, or if you're an actor who randomly, said, oh yeah, I'd love to do a Star Wars show. I'll sign that contract. Oh my gosh, I'm working for Leslie. We don't hold that against anyone, but there's a real disdain for this effort. And I almost never jump in and say, hey guys, I'm going to go from a passive to an active position here. I'm going to tell you, don't watch this. I have said, don't watch this. Now I'm watching it to give the review. That's it. I would not watch it otherwise. But I think there are a lot of people out there, whether they watch this channel or not, who, if they know who Leslie Headland is, they say, no, I will not participate in this. There's no way you're going to get me to watch something made by the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. I refuse. So, Lauren, should we even be shocked that the numbers are low? Like, wouldn't it be a shock if it actually was good? Wouldn't it be a shock if the viewership actually was great, because it would fly in the face of everything we know about Disney, Star Wars, and the people behind this?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why I'd be shocked if it was good. I mean, their track record has not been stellar. So, yeah, I think no matter what are the circumstances that you're looking at, I don't think that there was a way that this project was going to be successful, even if the show was good. That's the thing, is the brand is so tarnished and the product is so niche and it has so many negatives that are attached to it. I don't see how it was ever going to gain a large audience. And that's why I think the most important metric here, when there's all this dust being kicked up about whether it's being review bombed, whether there are bots that are involved in all of this, to me, that's all noise. Are people talking about it afterwards? That's what I think is going to be the real indicator as to whether the show was quality. And I think there's going to be people mocking it, but I'll be real interested to see if people continue to speak positively about it the week after it exits.
Lauren, why did the critics not understand this from the get-go? Like, why is there this push? Like, I get Disney is putting out the messaging, I get the narrative, but I don't understand some of these critics and YouTubers out there who are like, no, it's being review bombed. Like, are they that naive? Are they that disconnected from everything that they didn't realize? Oh, I'm hawking a Leslie Headland, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein product. I'm hawking that, and people aren't going to like it. Like, how are they this separated from the mainstream?
My hunch is there's two camps. I think that you have some critics, well, I think this is probably going to be more the mainstream critics, that are in a bit of a bubble. They all are in each other's sphere. They talk to each other. They probably have similar tastes. And I think there's a strain of contempt for the audience. They have a view that their opinions are more high-minded because this is what they do, and they're critiquing art, and all art has some inherent value. Then I think that you have what would be call it this independent press, more what we're doing here on YouTube and other places, where you have people that are looking for access and they want to be influencers and they want to stay on people's good side so that they can get access to premieres, exclusive content, goodies, all of that stuff. And there are going to be some people that do enjoy this. I struggle to imagine what kind of person that would be, but there's always going to be somebody that's going to like it, and I'm not going to disparage those people. You like what you like, but to try and claim that this is an enormous success, especially a financial one, that's going to be a little bit harder to try and stick a landing on, and I'm not going to buy anybody that's going to say that. So
I thought Michelle of Force of Light put it the best when she said, "If you enjoy this show, just know it's a guilty pleasure." Because it's not good.
Now, that's the same. Okay, given that kind of criteria, that's the way I feel about Solo. Now, most of the Disney projects that they put out, I dislike. Solo, I can recognize this is not a good movie, but it's one that I enjoy except for the parts with L3. Other than that, I kind of like it. I recognize, yeah, this ain't a good movie, and I wouldn't pitch it as one. but personally, I liked most of it. So
right. Well, folks, we hope we have run you through the full gauntlet of understanding how the game is played. If you dislike the Acolyte, you are far closer to where everyone else is. And the critics are scrambling because they are so far out of line that everyone knows it's a total joke. And that, folks, is where we will leave it today. The viewership is also on the way down, and they know it, and it is a clown world over at the House of Mouse. Folks, we hope you enjoyed the video. We hope we made your day better, and we hope that we gave you the truth you need to combat back the shills online. Folks, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure you go subscribe to Lauren Connor over on his YouTube channel. Link is down in the video description below. Also, like, share, subscribe. Click it, stick it to the algorithms, hit the notification bell, drop a comment right on down below, and folks, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
I just found out to get WDW Pro's information. Where he gets his sources. I can't believe he uses... Wilton!
What?
We got a job to do. It's easy to hack into WDW Pro's computer.
You're kidding me. That's awesome. You know any other stuff?
Yeah, just Jonas Campbell told me.
Sweet.
Said Pro underpaid him or something.
A few minutes later.
There. Oh, awesome. Whatever. All I gotta do is hack into this thing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah, this isn't a hack.
Grab this picture over here.
Leave it to me.
Oh, no. Oh, Wilson.
Job done. What?
No, all we had to do was use the picture because he uses face unlock. Now we gotta go to thatpartplace.com and sub to him and his team on YouTube.
Oh, well, I already did that because I'm smart.